Welcome to Tuesday Tea, the space where we get real, get honest, and talk about the things that actually matter. I'm your host, Alisha Bakramudrak, therapist, Pilates teacher, coach, and author of Leading Lady Energy.
And I'm Melissa Levine, educator, coach, and your co-host for the conversations that don't shy away from the messy, the meaningful, and everything in between.
Each week, we sit down with incredible humans, leaders, creatives, parents, dreamers, people who've lived, struggled, succeeded, and figured things out the hard way.
We share stories, ask real questions, and highlight the badass people out there doing the work.
So grab your tea
Or your other favorite beverage.
and let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're just giving you a little mini bite-sized cup of tea. Melissa and I are going to recap how our part of the year is going so far in 2026. If you remember or want to go listen to and recap, we did like an end of year reflection sort of episode, a number of just questions of like where we've been, where we are, where we're going. And since we're about like a month plus into this new year, I wanted to kind of like check in and chat through how we're doing in that realm. So let's remind everyone and ourselves our word, and then I'd love to hear kind of like just some initial thoughts on you liking it, what's happening.
Yeah. I love that we're doing this because I feel like people say like if you say what it is or you say it out loud, you're like more likely to actually do it. I think that's true sometimes, but I think the additional piece for me that's helpful is if I tell somebody who I know is going to like come back to it or like who's going to hold me accountable, I'm way more willing to like do it or like way more like, oh my gosh, I have to do it because I don't want to be able to like report out that I didn't do it.
Right.
And not because I think you would be judgmental or like, anything like that. But I don't know. I guess it's like a good form of pressure, like social pressure, to like hold yourself accountable for what you did. I think I like, this is so bad, but I'm pretty sure I picked the word intentional, but not because I meant like, more so I didn't want to feel like life was passing me by and I wanted to make more moves to like make my life feel like it's moving forward, and not to say that I shouldn't be able to rest or whatever. But anyway, all that to say, I feel like I've actually been doing really well. There's room for growth, but this is probably the first year where I already feel like I've been doing things. Like, for instance, one day I was like, I really need to start like getting my house. Like there's just like a few projects, like, right, like the closet in the front that it's just like full of crap and like was getting messy and causing me anxiety. But like, I would just be like, oh, I'm not dealing with it. It's shut.
And shut it.
Exactly. Like pull a Monica and just be like, I have that. That's fine.
Yeah.
If I don't see it, it's okay.
Doesn't
But
make sense.
then, yeah. So the other day I was like, I really didn't feel like doing it, but I'm like, you know what? If I don't do, like, I'm going to feel so much better after I do it. And I know I'm going to feel so much better. So I didn't I didn't make plans to go out or do anything. And I'm like, nope, that's what I'm doing tonight. And I cleaned it all out, and it just feels so good to like have it off. It is amazing how like clutter does actually kind of like start to weigh on you and cause anxiety. And yeah, so I'm just trying to make these like little moves and little decisions that like help make my life better and like make me feel like I'm working towards something, which obviously like my big thing right now is like I'm going to move in with Eric this year. And I need to like start thinking about getting my house ready and all of those things. And so it made me feel really good to do it. And it felt good to be able to say like I did that, and then I got to sit on the couch and relax and it was all good, so
Yeah.
I would
that.
say still definitely work to do, but I feel like I'm heading in the right direction.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. How about you?
My word was peace.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been like crazy how perfect of a word it's been. I think the idea behind it was peace in the sense that I felt aligned, that things were not more chaotic or dramatic than they need to be. Like life isn't always going to be peaceful, but living within a space where I felt like I was bringing stability or anchors or elements of peace to do what I could do. And so I think just in that too, there's been like so much abundance already. I like dabble in astrology, but my sign specifically is coming out of a really long 10-year cycle of like just bullshit that I was in. And this is the year it's like moving into a new, instead of like a trine, it's like a square. So I don't know, like all these things that are like more aligned and it's in like a better sign. So I'm definitely feeling that shift of a lot of the hard work that did feel not very peaceful is finally coming to fruition. And not
That's
that
great.
everything's been easy, but it
No.
just feels correct. Even just like encountering just some like tricky personalities last
Yeah.
weekend, some other things, even my response has just been different and how I choose to like operate within it, how I'm worrying or not worrying about things. I got the Aura Ring for Christmas too, and it's like the best feedback because it measures your like daily stress levels.
Mm.
And generally it like gives me praise all the time. Some days will be like, you're more stressed today. And it's funny 'cause I don't always feel more stressed those days. I'm like, what do you mean? But it makes me think. And
Yeah.
not a paid ad, but highly recommend. But it like it's been, but I'm also proud of how few days I've had of
Yeah.
like high stress, which means my heart rate's elevated or my breathing or whatever it's measuring
Sure.
biometrically that's telling me I'm stressed. Because it's not like I've been like inputting like information of how I feel into it. It's like my body's saying something when
Sure.
I'm sleeping. So that also just has been like really interesting to see the choices
Yeah.
I'm making like are literally physically having an impact on
That's
me
amazing.
overall. And then connecting like what is going different on days that it's higher. Sometimes I know, sometimes it's like I have to think more, but it's being
Mhm.
more reflective to then make choices to like come back
Yeah.
to my peace, whatever that kind of means.
That's amazing. I also think it's interesting that there's days that you wouldn't say a name that you're stressed, but your body is saying otherwise. And so it's kind of like hard to argue with like your
No.
body's physical response. And so just interesting to like think on and like unpack more. Like you said sometimes you have to like really think about what might have caused that reaction, which is yeah,
Yeah.
just like food for thought, but that's pretty cool.
And sometimes, like, it's calling it stress, whatever that means,
Yeah.
like, stress on the body, but I think it's also I can define it different ways, like, some days that are, like, more stress on my body, but I'm excited. I'm in planning mode, I'm in, like, thinking
Mm,
mode, I'm doing a lot of business
sure.
where I have, like, new clients, and I'm, like, engaged, and it's, like, little
Yeah.
anxiety provoking because 'cause they're new. Sometimes these conversations, like so it's also my own then you have the human part of it of, like, okay, so is this, like, stress? Like, yeah,
Sure.
one night I did wake up at 4 AM with stress dreams about an event and selling tickets and, like, feeling overwhelmed, and that is stress, right? Or one day I was so busy, I felt like I was
Yeah.
behind, but then other days it's been, like, stress, but it's still good to know how it's impacting my body, but it's like, this is, like
Mhm.
because they have engaged too, so, like, there's an engaged section, and then you're hitting a stress level, but for me, sometimes what I would define as engaged is stress on my body. So that's been
Yeah.
interesting to, like, say, "Ooh, so maybe that is actually not great." Like, how do I
Yeah. Or how do
balance
you
or dial
help
it back a little?
manage yourself a little bit more in those
Exactly.
moments that I think it's just awareness is always helpful, right? Like you don't
Uh-huh.
have to like agree or you don't really ultimately don't have to do anything from it, right?
Yeah.
It's just information that you can choose to use or, I always say like take what you want and chuck the rest. Like take what you need from it
Yep.
and if
Right.
it's not serving you or you don't find value in it, like also don't have to like it's not like it's
Yep.
one piece of information, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's not gonna make or break like,
Yeah.
I also learned my cardiovascular health is 8 years younger than my age, so that was
Well,
fantastic. It's like,
that
"Great,
is
love
awesome.
that for
Yeah.
myself."
All that Pilates is paying off.
Yeah. Um, what do you think you can do, like, with the remainder of Q1 with these 2
Mhm.
months? Like, what are some, like, intention points that you
Yeah.
really wanna set for them for the
Uh,
next
I think it's for me, it's the time piece, like, and I feel like part of this is just life, and I think having kids, being a single mom, like, some of these things are just going to be what my reality is, and that's okay, and I think for me, it's being more mindful of how I'm using my times when I am not stressed out or moving quickly. So what I mean by that is like there's some times where I felt like a lot last year. And again, my job is also like going from site to site and helping all these people. And so sometimes that's inevitable, but on those times where I'm not racing around, am I using my time more effectively to manage later feelings of stress, if that makes sense, right?
right,
So if it's like, okay, well, right now is my work from home day. So does it make sense for me to like get some things done? Like I think last Monday, I went to the grocery store. I did like a few things, like I worked out. I made sure that like because I wasn't stressed out and I wasn't having to move from point A to C to D, whatever,
right,
that I had that extra time and I was trying to invest it wisely so that later when I did have a day where I had to like literally go from working at two sites to picking up my kids, that I didn't have the additional stress of having to like now figure out dinner and
right.
this, So it's just like
Yeah,
I think I
setting
just
treat
want to
yourself up. being intentional, set your
Yeah.
yourself up for more success.
Totally, and I think I just wanna continue that and even get better at doing it, more. I think sometimes I'm like, "Oh, but I just am so tired," or like, I should be able to relax on these days, and it's like, "Yes, but I can relax, but isn't it better to also, like" I don't have to do everything on that day, but if I do a few things, that will actually set me up better to, like, even have another time to relax on that other day where I would be stressed out. So, it's just those kinds of things, just planning a little bit more ahead and investing a little more time ahead of time so that, in those moments, I'm not as stressed, even if I have to, like, do a lot of running around or I
Yeah,
do, so
yeah.
I feel like that I've actually it's been going pretty well. I feel really good about that, and I'm grateful that we had that conversation because I think sometimes just you're not even, like, thinking as intentionally about those things because you're
Right.
not having those conversations, or so I'm grateful for this podcast and for you for many reasons, but I think that's something that is really cool that's come from this for me personally is, yeah, just being more aware of what I'm doing and, the decisions I'm making and just making changes that I wanna make.
I also something that I think helps reinforce that is, like, let's say you grocery shop you're making your dinner because you already
Mhm.
did all that.
Mhm.
I like to thank my past self for setting future Alicia up, and,
Ooh,
like,
I like
"Thank you,
that.
past Alicia, like,
Mhm.
you really were looking out for me today."
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
great.
sometimes just, like, acknowledging the forethought and
Yeah,
these, like, little habits that we gift ourselves reinforces us to keep doing it,
yeah.
and sometimes I'll catch myself not helping myself out where I'm like, "Wow, past Alicia really thought future Alicia was gonna be very productive Monday morning," and that, like, doesn't really make sense because I don't like doing stuff
Right,
in the morning.
historically, that's
Or,
just
like,
not gonna
not
work.
set myself up for that next time, so there
Mm.
was just, like, where I was, like, really ambitious when I thought I could
Yeah,
do all this. So, it's on being, like, down on myself, but I think just sometimes those little reflection moments in real time as we're
totally.
living in the past and present and future is a helpful way to keep doing them and
Yeah,
doing
no
them better
doubt.
over
Yeah,
time, you
for
know?
sure. That makes sense because I mean, it's like, yes, celebrate those moments so you wanna reinforce and keep doing them, but also, like, gently also call yourself out. Like, there's no you don't
Yeah.
have to it doesn't have to feel punitive or, like, mean, but yeah, it's good to, I think, just be aware, and I think maybe that's too it's not just my intentionality of time and allocating the time. I think for me too, it's just being more aware of why I'm doing the things I'm doing and, like, making sure that I even have awareness in those moments and I'm not just, like, functioning on this, like, high adrenaline, autopilot.
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
because I mean, because
you're
number 1, that's not best
proactive in it.
for my body anyway, right? Because then my
Mhm.
cortisol is higher.
We're gonna be in stress.
Totally, and we've been talking a lot about, like, locus of control in general, and so it's like, I can't control that, like, my job is going to inevitably have stressful moments or, like,
Right,
residents that are getting feedback and,
right.
might be let go or whatever it may be, but I can control that I do a few things ahead of time. And so, yeah, I think I'm just trying to be more aware of that. But I like that idea of like recognizing the moments that I'm doing well or not, and like just making a point to call that out to myself because I think that will help reinforce it. I don't have to wait for someone else to give me feedback, good or bad. I can like
No.
just give that to myself.
Do it to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I think the word's helpful for me when things do I go back to some maybe like more unhelpful patterns of thought or get more in
Hmm.
my like defensive, like get over yourself space or whatever. I kind of just keep trying to come back to this like, is this like aligning with like where I want to spend my energy? And it doesn't mean I
Yeah.
don't have emotions or feelings that are not always positive or
Yeah.
whatever, but I think it's just choosing to give them space if they feel actually worth it and like contribute to an end game of moving me forward versus some patterns that I think didn't serve me as well in the past. And it's not always easy, but I think it's
Yeah.
been a nice like anchor to keep
That's great.
recalibrating around.
And I love that you're calling out that peace. Well, what you're meaning when you say peace, because I think peace can likely mean slightly different things for different
Mhm.
people, but it's not necessarily absence of hard or
Like
stress
stress,
or whatever, right?
sadness,
But it's just
anger.
that it doesn't feel as chaotic and that maybe you're able to respond
Mhm.
from a more peaceful place.
Mhm.
Chaos could still be happening because it's life and, life be life in.
Yeah.
But it sounds like your responses just felt like they better served you because you were grounding yourself from like a peaceful place. So
Yes.
that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's only been a month, so I'm
I
excited.
know. Look at
You
us.
don't
Yeah,
look
yes. Wait,
good.
what are the kids doing?
I don't know. I'm not, you would know more than me. I don't talk to any kids ever. I'm like,
I've never felt cooler though I did this and like a someone I forget if it was at a school, like either a teenager or like a colleague was like impressed that I like knew. Well,
that
when
was
you
like a
work
little
in
clap. Does it mean like, does it have
yeah, it's like instead of doing snaps, you're just like
this
doing
is the
this.
name? Like,
Yeah.
you know what it reminds me of? Or those little finger,
Yeah,
like,
castanets. Castanets. We're right. We're fingering the castanets. That's what it yeah, that's what it looks like though. It totally.
it
I was
does.
thinking the
Those
same
little
thing. I'm like, what are these?
thing.
What are we doing here?
My back in my music class in like
Yeah.
fourth grade, like,
Yeah. Yeah, maybe one day there'll be a recorder one because, like, that would be the only
that's
useful
the thing that has
skill.
to come back because like the digital cameras have come back. Like people
Mhm.
want old iPhone, like all this stuff
Yeah,
that VHSs are
totally,
back, landlines are
totally.
back.
Isn't
Like
that funny?
so funny.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
love it. I'm like, yes, okay. Feels
Mhm.
comfortable though. At least it's like our stuff is back. So we're like, yeah, we know this.
Totally. Like,
So
I know.
cool.
I knew it was like I've never felt cooler, but also old because things are so cyclical. And I remember
Right.
seeing my pictures of my mom in outfits that I would have wanted.
Right.
And I'm like, why didn't you say that for me? But now, like seeing my
Like,
daughter
oh,
like
I
wearing
see why.
chokers and like wearing all the 90s stuff,
I
I've
know.
never felt like, oh, this is so cool, but also like, oh my God, like I'm the old one now that
I
like
know.
has lived
It's been long enough to be a cycle.
to see this trend come back. Like I don't that doesn't make me feel great. I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
I know.
So it's okay.
But then also like we're the ones that we look the youngest. So that's
Yeah.
like our generation is like looks younger right now than the
Really?
generation below us. So take
Where,
that.
who said that? Because I mean,
I don't know.
I that
It's
makes me
on
happy.
Instagram.
Okay. So it's total science.
True.
It was on, I saw
Yes.
it on TikTok.
Taylor saw it on his feed too on X, so we both saw it. So therefore, it's like on multiple
So
feeds.
therefore it must be true
Must be
because the preponderance of evidence is there for sure. I mean, I don't disagree. I'm like, I don't know if it's because I don't know why that is, but that's really cool.
Yeah, it's at like 80 something to 90 something look younger
Hmm.
than. Well, I also think people are getting more work done young, and it makes you look older, in my opinion. But
I was going to say, I wonder how I feel
mhm.
like Botox is so mainstream. Like when
Well,
we were
it's not
growing
even
up,
Botox. It's the filler. It's the like nose. It's like the facial. Like we didn't do that, and I think when a young person does
mhm.
it before they've need to, it sometimes ages
Well,
them.
and also like if you're like to me, it's like, why would I get too much work done when I'm still growing? Like I
Right,
know I
right.
know like
No,
noses
yeah,
always grow or whatever, but like there
no,
is something to like I get wanting to get certain things done before they get bad. Like Botox makes sense, right? Because it's like you're trying to
right,
avoid the deep set wrinkles before they get deep
right.
set.
But to
But
like
yeah,
fill your cheeks out or fill here or do
but
that,
like
like
for what?
your lips, like it like changes your appearance. And I think sometimes there's like a
Hmm.
brand of look that surgical
Yeah.
stuff like or like cosmetic stuff looks like. And I do think some of
Yeah,
it
I
makes you look
agree.
older,
Well,
unfortunately.
and sometimes it's just the look of the plastic surgery, I think, that maybe makes you appear older because in our
Right, because
head
we
we're like,
think
"Oh, she's
older
had work
people get
done."
it. Yeah, yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's almost like you're hurting
Mental
yourself because it's like mental and people are assuming that people of a certain age get work done,
right,
therefore you must be of that
right.
age, right? Well, I've never had anything and I'm like at that age where I feel like I need to start getting
Look
Botox
okay.
because I'm like, do I need it? Like I just feel like in certain like videos or like right now the light is really good and I'm like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
look
yeah,
pretty
you look
good."
beautiful.
But, just I don't know. I'm like I am all for aging gracefully, but I also like don't need to look old.
No,
So,
I love
I
Botox. 10 out of 10 recommend.
yeah, so I've been like doing a little bit of research that I'm like when you have a young man too, I'm like I need to like
Keep up with the youth.
to keep up with his appearance cuz he looks so young, but he acts old. So like I feel like he like acts like an old
Right.
grumpy old man. Then, in that case, I'm like, well, I'll be young forever because my personality is so fun and young.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, this was your little bite-sized cup. We will see you soon. We have a month of awesome guests lined up,
yay.
and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us on this episode of Tuesday Tea. We hope something here landed, encouraged you, or made you feel a little less alone.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow, rate, and share the podcast. It helps more people find these stories.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. It really supports the show.
For more ways to connect with us or learn about what we do, check out the links below.
And until the next cup, keep the tea hot
And the truth hotter.